I was born in Karachi, lived there till I was about, I guess 9 years old. Moved to, and studied there as well, and then moved to Abu Dhabi. Was there for about 2 years, 3 years. And in 1982 I moved to the UK. I went to boarding school, did 5 years at school there in Devon, and then I went to the LSE, did a BSc in economics, graduated, studied as an accountant for a year, and then decided I'd had enough really, and set up my own business, my first business. I've always been, I guess foodie is a much used word, but I've always been a foodie, always cooked at home, watched all the TV shows. So it's sort of been part of me for almost since I was a teenager. I'd been here for a couple of years, as I mentioned, when I was younger. My parents used to have a home here. I used to come here in transit. And I kind of every time I come here, I always struggled to find somewhere casual to eat. There were only a couple of places. I mean, there was More Cafe, and there was Lime Tree, and there wasn't really anything else in those days. I'm talking about 2007, 8. And it just seemed like a big gap, and Abu Dhabi seemed like an even bigger gap because there was nothing going on there at all. I stumbled across Jones when I was in Singapore. In fact, I was on a plane and I read a magazine called Wallpaper. I don't know if you know Wallpaper, but it's now a Condé Nast publication. And it's about fashion and design, and Jones had a big listing in it. And I looked at the publication and I thought, hey, this sounds really interesting. I was on a plane coming back from Vietnam from one of my business trips before I wound down the business. And I came back and I sent an email and a fax, in those days fax I guess, to the guys in the Jones stores in Australia, and I said, look, I'm really keen, I like this concept. But yes, cafe is a big component of our business, and that market with the queues at our doors when we first opened, everybody saw the opportunity and people jumped into that space. And I think there's a lot of hot money in food and beverage right now, and I think it's overplayed, too many players in the market. Supply is it's a perverse market in a way, because it's one of the few markets I know where demand is shrinking and supply is growing. In fact, it should be the other way around, where demand shrinks and supply contracts, perhaps more so. But in this market, it seems to me that people don't really have the same principles of supply and demand that exist in any other market. I was a GM, and I was also the first store manager. And I was also the guy opening the shutters and closing them and running the pass and carrying the dishes. So I did everything, and I didn't know any other way. And that was the other challenge, is that a lot of people they didn't understand why I was doing this. Why don't you have somebody doing this? Why don't you have somebody doing that? That mindset was a bit difficult over here. For me, it was second nature because I'd always run a business that was easy. We bought the brand globally, so we owned. Our entity now owns Jones the Grocer globally. Our objective is to come out of this region, grow the brand globally, look for franchise partners in Europe, in Asia, and we're actively working on that. We have a lot of interest. We're currently looking in Saudi Arabia, we've got interest from Jordan, we're looking at other territories outside this region as well, like Cambodia and so on. So there's a lot in the pipeline, and I guess our goal is to just build the brand out, get a much more global footprint than we have today.